Friday night, we had a really good matchup with Ashland, one of the top teams in our conference and in our region. We're looking forward to that matchup. We felt we had the ability to compete with them, and we did. We lost a 5-set match to them. Didn't play our best, so that's a little disappointing. You hate to play a top team and not bring your best game so that you really know how you compare against a team. So unfortunately, we ended up losing in the 5th set to them and walked out of the gym not real satisfied with our effort overall. I think our offense sputtered a little bit. Serve receive defensively, we were pretty good. Blocking wise, we were right there. Just our offense didn't click, didn't connect as well as we would have liked and as well as it normally does. That hasn't been a weakness for us. But Saturday, put the pieces together, utilized a couple other tools during the day. So got a couple more young girls some time on the court, and that's always exciting for them, exciting to see what the future of the program could be. Overall, it was not a bad weekend when you compete with the top in the conference, but when you feel you can compete a little bit better, you'd like another shot at them, and hopefully if we do things right, we might get that shot later on.
I felt like this weekend, we struggled a little bit against Ashland. It was a really tough 5-set match. I felt like kind of all around our fundamentals were struggling a little bit, and we just needed to get back to basics. I also felt like we couldn't really execute during crucial moments in that game that would have kind of turned the match around for us and maybe resulted in a win. But it was good to get back on our feet against Erie on Saturday. We got a good win against them, and we really stepped up at the net. We stopped some of their big hitters, and we also did a really good job blocking.
And coming up ahead of us, we've got Lake Superior State on Friday, back on the road again. So we had to travel up there and play an early match on Friday at 5 o'clock. And then Saturday, we're back, at least in the neighborhood, not at home, but playing at Northwood with a late match for a Saturday at 5 o'clock also. So a couple upcoming matches. Haven't really seen much of either one of them, so we haven't had a chance to scout them too much. Lake State's got a new coach, so there's always a lot of new energy there. Program on the rise, and then Northwood as well. Coach that's been there a couple of years doing some good things. They've got a couple of really nice weapons there. So we've got to be prepared for another tough weekend in the GLIAC and another tough one on the road. So looking forward to another opportunity to put our game on the floor, show people what we can do, and hopefully bring home a couple more wins for our conference.
Well, we want to get off to a good start on Friday against Lake Superior State. We're hoping to come out with a win against them, and so that gives us some momentum for the game on Saturday. Northwood is kind of right behind us in the league rankings, so it's going to be a tough game against them, and they're battling just as hard as we are right now to be in the postseason tournament, so it's going to be a good match. This week we've really been working on things that we struggled a little bit with these past couple weekends with the crossover and this past weekend at home. Sharpening up our blocking skills, definitely at the pin and recovery blocking. We've also been working a lot on serve receive, just getting our platforms out and ready and being ready to receive the ball. We want to keep serving aggressive. I feel like sometimes we lay off a little bit on teams that we think are maybe a little bit easier, and we still need to work to serve tougher.
So we actually have a couple more hours this weekend than normal, but it's not anything you can do anything during that time because you're usually either traveling or resting or eating. It's about the only things you can fit in between the two matches. So we're pretty used to the quick turnover, but all you can do is try to prepare during the week. There's not much you can do in between that time. So if you haven't done your work ahead of time, you haven't figured out how to be flexible and adapt from one day to the next, or in the case of the crossover, it might be 2 matches in the same day where you just have to figure out how to adapt for the next team that you're facing, then there's not much you can do with that time. You can do your scouting and you can have a plan, but you have to have done the work in practice to be able to implement whatever plan you might have. So as you face different teams, you either try to adapt and try to adjust to what they're bringing, or you just do what you do well enough that, hey, they have to adapt to you. And this year, I have to say, we've been a bit more of that team. So we don't adapt so much to what the other team is doing, so much as we just bring what we're good at and make them adapt to us. We've tried to adapt a little bit of that mentality that we're the big dog on the court and you're going to have to deal with us instead. And that's helped us a little bit with our confidence and not clogging up the kids' heads with too much strategy and too much adjustment at the same time. So probably do some more of that this weekend, but you always have to do a little bit. You have to be prepared for what the other team's strengths are. The rest, we're just going to try to make them adapt to us.